So, welcome to lecture number 16 in the online mode. So, in this session, we are starting up with Unit 3 of HDL programming using Verilog course. The chapter title is Behavioral Style of Modeling. The objectives or the things that we are learning in this section are structured procedures, that is initial and always block, procedural assignments, blocking and non-blocking, timing controls, we have delay based, event based and level sensitive controls. Conditional assignments, you have if else, if nested, multi-way branching, 3 case statements, loops, 4, sequential and parallel blocks, examples. So in examples, we'll be having traffic light controller as one of the case study. So in this class, we are concentrating on these two things. Okay. So let us focus on it. Verilog provides designers the ability to describe design functionality in an algorithmic manner. So this is very important. Unlike the previous two data flow style as well as the gate level modeling, they were more specific on the operators or else on the gate primitives. Whereas this particular chapter, behavioral style of modeling, will describe the design functionality in an algorithmic manner. So this behavioral style is also called as algorithmic style of modeling. We are writing in terms of algorithm itself by using high level languages or constructs. Designer describes the behavior of the circuit here. Rather than focusing on how the circuit is, the designer mainly describes the behavior of the circuit. Very high level of abstraction. So it's a top level of abstraction means on, without getting inside, like what is happening gate gate level, we don't worry about it at all. It's like somewhat, I can say, C language style. Okay. It provides the designer with greater amount of flexibility. Comparatively, it is easier for writing a code in behavioral style when you take a complex course. So if the code becomes complex, it's very difficult to address using gate level modeling as well as behavioral data flow style of modeling. In that case, we use the behavioral style of modeling. So in behavioral style of modeling, there are two structured procedure statements in Verilog. Those are always and initial. We have been using it during our laboratory course. We'll throw more light on it in this session. Each always and initial statement represent a separate activity flow in Verilog. So these two are separate entities, and these are also called as sequential blocks. These are also called as sequential blocks. Okay. So each activity flow starts at 0 simulation time. Means the always and initial inside within the always or within the initial, the statements are sequential, but as a whole, if you consider always statement as well as initial statement, those two things will execute parallelly. For example, if I'm having two initial blocks and two always block in my single code, the whole of these lot, two initial as two always blocks, start at the same simulation time 0. Once they enter inside there, the statements inside the initial or statement inside the always block will be executing sequentially. That's the difference. The statement always and initial cannot be nested. It's very important. The statements always and initial cannot be nested. You cannot have always within a always. You cannot have initial within a initial. You cannot have always within a initial, or else you cannot have initial within a always. Nesting is not at all possible between these sequential, between or within these sequential statements or blocks. I hope I'm clear, very clear about it. So we will focus individually on how this initial statement behaves. This initial statement All the statements inside an initial statement constitute an initial block. What's an block? What is the initial block? Initial sequential block? Initial sequential block is considering that initial keyword, whatever statements you write inside to it, togetherly it is called as initial block. An initial block starts at time 0. This I had just mentioned in the earlier slide. Executes exactly once during the simulation. And this does not execute again. Remember, initial block does not execute again. It will execute only one time during a simulation. That's a difference between initial and always. If there are multiple initial blocks, each block starts to execute concurrently at 0. I had again stated it. Think that you have two initial blocks. Initial 1, initial 2. So it will be having certain statement inside it. It will be having certain statement inside it. But these two statements as a whole start at 0 simulation time itself. It's not like initial 1 is coming first in the Verilog code, so this will execute and complete a simulation, and after that initial 2 will start. It's not like that. These two will begin the simulation at a time, at time 0. Within this it may be sequential, but as a whole the multiple initial blocks that you will be having in your code executes parallelly, concurrently. Each block finishes execution independently of the other block. It, it will start at a time, no doubt about it. That I can assure and tell. But whether these two things will complete the simulation at a time, it's not guaranteed. Because initial 1 will be having different statements, the initial 2 will be having different statements. If initial 1 is having more number of statements than initial 2, then initial 1 may end up late compared to initial 2. Or else initial 1, if it is having statements with lot of delays, large delays, then it may complete later than initial 2. That's the possibility. So it will start at a time, that I can assure, but ending or finishing happens independently of other blocks. Okay. Used it, why it is used? That's a question. Why initial block is used? So mainly it is used for initialization. So for example, if you want to initiate or declare some initial values to the variables that you have declared, then we use a initial statement. Or else, if at all you want to use a monitor system task, dollar symbol monitor, you have to compulsorily use within the initial block itself. Or else, in order to write its stimulus block, generate a waveform or test bench. So these are some of the usefulness of initial statements. Multiple behavioral statements must be grouped using the keywords begin and end. What's the meaning of it? Think that I'll take the same example. Initial 1 has single statement, one statement. So no need to have begin and end keywords here. Think that initial 2 has multiple statements. If it is having multiple statements, then you should include these multiple statements inside the keywords begin and end. So this is the difference. This is the meaning of multiple behavioral statement must be grouped within begin and end. If there is only one behavioral statement, grouping is not necessary. This is all about initial statement. I hope the things are clear. Now soon after the concept, we'll have an example in order to justify whatever we have learnt theoretically. Initial statement, example it is. I've taken an example. Module stimulus, registers X, Y, A, B, M. 5 registers have been declared. I'm initializing these things using initial statement. M is equal to 0. It's a single statement, hence does not need to be grouped within begin and end. This is a single statement. But I can check this initial. This initial is multiple statements, hence you have begin and end. What about this one? This initial statements is a multiple statement, hence covered it, grouped it within begin and end. What about this one? This is single statement, so there is no begin and end. You have first initial statement, second initial statement, third one, and fourth one. So all these four initial statements executes parallelly. The time it starts executing, at the same time this also starts executing, this also start executing, this also start executing. So what happens? Very first thing is m is assigned with 0, and in this initial block, after 5 time units, a is assigned to 1, and similarly this is after 10 time units, x is assigned to 0, and it is 50, so still time is there. Now here 5 plus 25, after 30 time units, 0 is assigned to b, and here 10 would have already completed because at 0 itself it has started. 0 plus 10 is 10, 10 plus 25 is 35. At 35 time units, 1 will be assigned to y, and after 50 time units, finish. Simulation will be terminated. So the same thing has been told here. At 0, what is happening? Only m is getting the value. No, nothing is happening. So m is getting the value. And after that, which is soon? 5, 10, 5 is soon. After 5 time minutes, a is getting 1. A is getting 1 after 5 time minutes. After 5, what is next? 10. After 10 time minutes, 0 is assigned to x. So without any delay. It's not like 5 is already happened plus 10. It is not plus 10. It would have been 15 if it is that case. In that case. So it is starting from 0 plus 10. X is getting 0. Now after that, it will check. So after 25, it takes more time. After 25 here, 5 plus 25, 30. So at 30, b is getting 0. B is getting 0. Now again, it will check. So there's 25. 25 after 10. 10 plus 25 is 35. 35, y is getting 1. And at 50, it is stopping. Okay. So this is the initial statement. Let us just take this code into the Xilinx simulator and check it. So I have opened a Xilinx simulator. I hope all of you are there. Okay. New project. So in this new project, I'll give the name as Unit 3 examples of class lecture 1. So behavioral style of modeling lecture 1 it is. So all the specification we already know: Spartan 6, LX4, TQG 144, all these are product specification, FPGA specification, these are software specification, XST simulation, XST synthesis tool, iSIM simulator, Verilog is a preferred language, VSGL 93 is a standard that we are using. So here you can see the summary and finish it. So project is open. So once the project is open, go for the new source. One second. New source, Verilog module. So let me just copy down the same code. I have prepared all these codes. So I have named it as stimulus initial. Let me name it as initial. Next, finish. See here, we don't have any inputs and outputs. We are just analyzing how the statement works. Okay. Then the question comes like why I did not take it as Verilog test fixture. It doesn't matter. This Xilinx tool is very smart. Even though you would select it as Verilog module, and if you go on writing the stimulus without having any inputs and outputs, it will consider it to be a stimulus block itself. Then why I didn't do the same thing in previous cases? That's the question. Another question. Why I didn't do so? Because when you have the design block already, and upon the design block, if you want to create a stimulus block by selecting that particular design block, automatically some pre-statements come over here. Like inputs will get declared as registers by itself. Outputs will be declared by wire by itself, and instantiation of the design block will also happen. So these automatic things will happen when I do Verilog test fixture. But if you directly start to Verilog module, it will not happen so. So hence, in previous cases where I did not do so, now I am doing because I don't have any design block. When you don't have any design block, you can directly do in this way. So there is I hope there is no confusion between these things. So initial block, I'll just copy this code. So between statements, module and end module, I am copying all the things because module and end module already it is present. So I'll zoom it. You can see here registers X, Y, A, B, M. Initial M is equal to 0. First initial block, second initial block A and B, 5, 10 minutes, 25, 10 minutes. Third initial block 10, 25. Fourth initial block it is finish. So begin and end, because multiple statement, begin and end, multiple statements here. No need of begin and end. If at all you have begin and end, it does not create any problem. It's an option. But if you don't use any begin and end here when it is multiple behavioral statements, then it will throw you an error. Okay, so remember this. So let me just save it. So I'll go to simulation, or you can just check syntax or synthesize. Because synthesis has no meaning here, it is all about simulation. So directly you can go to simulation, behavioral simulation to be done, but it's okay. We'll just do it for the first time. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, please come up in the chat box. Okay, no doubts. It's taking time. So it is telling that it is failed. System task finish is always executed. Yeah, let it be. Means this line 52 finish is executed. Once it is executed, so the simulation terminates. But synthesis, for synthesis there is nothing. This system task has no meaning with the synthesis. So that's why I repeatedly told while explaining the system task in the unit 1 that whenever you use a system task, you should compulsorily use it for writing stimulus block only. Okay, it does not have any meaning with the hardware generation. So directly synthesis is not at all necessary. That's what I told. Okay, so because it is a stimulus block, so I highlight the stimulus block, click on simulator, iSim simulator, double click on simulate behavioral model. So we are checking the working of initial block here. So it's been completed successfully. So as I had already told you, synthesis has no meaning as it is a stimulus block. So I directly simulated it. So once it is simulated, iSim simulator got opened. So you need to wait. Yeah, the graph is generated. Zoom to full view. So zoom to full view, I'll just minimize it. You just check here. So M is equal to 0 is assigned at 0 simulation time. Let me check. So you can go through here. I'll keep it here. M is equal to 0 at 0 simulation time. Y is equal to 1. Next is A. A is here. A is going to 1. 0 to 10 nanoseconds in between is 5 nanoseconds. At 5 nanoseconds, A is becoming 1. At 5 nanoseconds or 5 time minutes, A is becoming 1. And at 10 time minutes, X is going to 0. At 10 time minutes, X is going to 0. At 10 time minutes, X is going to 0. And at 30 time minutes, B is going to 0. At 30 time minutes, you can see here at 30 nanoseconds, B is going to 0. And at 35, Y is going to 1. Y is here at 35. At 35, Y is going to 1. And after 50 time minutes, after 50 nanoseconds, your simulation is coming to the termination. That is getting terminated. So I explained it using the slides as well as using the Xilinx platform. Both are matching. So this is how the initial block executes. So by this we came to analysis or understanding that all these initial blocks executes concurrently. Within the initial block it is sequential. Okay, and the termination of these initial blocks or the completion of the simulations of these initial block are interdependent or independent, or I can say it is independent of the other. So this is about initial block. Next, any doubts? I'll wait for a minute. If you have any doubts, please reply in the chat box. Okay, if no doubts, let me continue. Okay, I'll take the doubts at the end itself. Next part of the structured procedures is always block. So here, the always statement is one more type of sequential statement. All the statements inside an always statement constitute an always block. The always statement start at time 0, same as initial, and execute the statements in always block continuously. This is the difference. It will execute continuously in a looping fashion. This statement is used to model a block of activity that is repeated continuously in a digital circuit. If something in your digital circuit is getting on repeated multiple number of times, in that case we use always block to build that particular circuitry. If there are multiple always block, each block starts to execute concurrently at 0. Same thing as initial block. If there are multiple statements called always 1, always 2, always 3 and all, every always block start at 0 simulation time. Each block finishes execution independently, same as initial block. Multiple behavioral statement must be grouped using keywords begin and end. You have to use begin and end in order to cover up the multiple statements inside the always statement. If there is only one behavioral statement, grouping is not necessary. Most of the things are same as initial block. What is the difference is it will execute continuously in a looping fashion, whereas initial block will not. That's the difference. Here's a code example explaining always block. So always statement module clock underscore gen register clock. Here what we are doing is we want to generate a clock which toggles after every 10 time units by itself. So what we are doing is if we put the initialization of the clock inside the always block, clock will be initialized every time in the always every time the always is entered. So we are using initial block. So there is an initial block here. There is a always block here. There is an initial block. All these are single statement always initial and always blocks, sequential blocks. Okay, or else I can say always A1. This is I1, I2. So two initial blocks, one always block, and all these are single statement. So hence no begin and end are used. Here initially I'll set clock to be 0. Why I didn't use only always? Because if I use always equal to clock equal to 0 means always clock will be 0. Okay, so that's why you initialize clock equal to 0. That's it. And after that, go to always statement. I want to have a time period of the clock to be 20. So clock look like this. So this is a clock. So one period of the clock is here. This is one period. Okay, period. So what is the period here? They have given it to be t is equal to 20. If t is equal to 20, the half of it should be t naught, I can say should be 10. So what I do is initially it is set to 0. Clock is set to 0. Clock is set to 0. After 10 time minutes, clock is getting inverted. Clock is getting inverted means when it is 0, after 10 time minutes, think that it is 10 time minutes here. So it should invert. So it is 0, it will become 1. Now again after 10 time minutes, it is always statement. So always it will execute. After 10 time minutes again, now clock value is 1. Here it is 1. So after 10 time minutes, it will toggle again. It will go to 0. After 10 time minutes, again it will toggle. It will go to 1. Again it will toggle. It will go to 0. So it will continue. So this is how the always statement will work. Now, when it should stop? Always statement will execute indefinitely. But you should have something to stop or finish. If not, if there is no stop or finish statement to halt the simulation, the clock generator will run forever. Right? So hence you need to stop at some time. So I use one more initial block. After 1000 simulation time, I define finish, termination of the simulation. So let us check using the Xilinx environment. I'll take the always statement, clock gen code means clock generation. So right click, new source, Verilog module. So clock underscore gen is a name of the Verilog module. So finish. So I'll zoom it. So here I'll copy the code. So here's the code. Module clock underscore gen, and very importantly you should note this, the unit I have set using backtick time scale, it is a directive, compiler directive. So what it says to the compiler is 1 time units is equivalent to 1 nanosecond and precision to be 1 picoseconds. So this is very important. Okay, time units is nanosecond. So when I say 20, it is 20 time minutes or 20 nanoseconds. 10 means 10 nanoseconds. 1000 means 1000 nanoseconds. Same thing, initial always block and initial for completion. So I'll just save it. I don't synthesize it. Synthesis is not needed. I have already said. Directly go to simulation. Highlight this clock underscore gen. Double click on simulate behavioral model. And wait for a while, so until it completes. So it has completed successfully. iSIM simulator is going to open now, GUI. Can check here. So clock is generated. I'll zoom to full view. You can see here at 0 nanoseconds. I'll just zoom it a bit. Yeah. At 10 nanoseconds, 0 to 10, it is staying 0, 10 to 20, it is staying 1, 20 to 30, it is staying 0, 30 to 40, it is staying 1. So like this, if you check at the end here, it is 1000 nanosecond. Okay, and you can see the precision here, 1000.000 nanosecond means dot 003 after decimal dot means that it is 3 dots means it is having the precision of picoseconds. That's why we mention it in the backtick time scale compiler directive. So this is how the clock is generated using always block. Okay, so I can show you one modification. Yeah, so if I change it to 20, now the clock's frequency becomes halves, or else I can say the delay is doubled. So I'll just simulate it once again to show you. So GUI is launching successfully. So zoom to full view. You can check here. At 20 time minutes, till 20 time minutes, 20 nanoseconds, it is staying at 0. 22 to 40, it is staying 1. 40 to 60, it is staying 0, like that. Whatever amount of clock frequency you need, you can definitely achieve it by using this method. Okay. So this is about the always statement. Now, we shall just write the differences. So the differences between the initial and always block, that I'll list it now. So difference between initial and always block. So important. Initial, always. So what's the first difference? So it executes. So its keyword is initial. Its keyword is always. That is not needed. That's not actually the conceptual difference. So we'll concentrate only on conceptual difference. It executes. It executes one time only. One time only during simulation. Okay. What about this? It executes. It executes in looping fashion. What about second one? So in initial, as it is executing only one time, no need of termination. No need to no need to terminate. What about here? You need to, it should be terminated. It should be terminated. So these are the two differences. You can quote some examples here that suffice you the differences. That example you already I have shown it in the simulator as well as in the um, slides. You can definitely write those the same things. Okay. So this is the difference between initial block and always block. If you have any doubts, please come up in the chat box. Before that, I'll just introduce you what is blocking and non-blocking statements. And in next next session, we start with blocking and non-blocking. Okay, it's very important. That's why. So I'll just give some highlights on it, and then I'll take the doubt session. So procedural assignment is the second topic of this session. So what is procedural statement? So in this assignment, you'll be having a left side and right side. In the left hand side, you'll be having its value, the value to be put. So expression will be coming on the right hand side. So whatever you want to evaluate. So in total, we'll call it as an assignment statement or procedural assignment statement. The left hand side of the procedural assignment is L value can be one of the following. What can this particular place, position can be occupied with? It can have either a register, integer, real, or a time register variable or a memory element. All these things can occupy the place of value, or else it can also have bit select of these variable, a part of this variable, bit select or part select of these variable, or concatenation of any of these above. All these things can occupy the position of L value, left side value or left hand side of the procedural assignment. Okay, and what about the right hand side? The right hand side expression can be expression that evaluates to a value. For example, it may be a ampersand b, a plus b, a minus b, a XOR b, a shift b, or a shift 2, concatenation, whatever that will result in a value, whatever that will evaluate to a value, that we call it as expression. So that kind of expression you can have it on the right hand side. And of course you can have even a variable which is carrying some constant, that also is called expression. That also you can have in the right hand side, which produces a value at the left hand side after the assignment. There are two kinds of procedural assignment, very important it is. Two kinds of procedural assignment statements. One is blocking statement and the other is non-blocking statement. Why the name has been given as blocking and non-blocking? The blocking statements, the name itself specifies that it blocks, it blocks, it blocks execution of the subsequent statements from execution. Whereas non-blocking statements will not block the execution of subsequent statements. Why it will block and why it will not block, how it is working, how it is used, all these things will verify it using the examples in the very next session, because it needs certain amount of time. So I'll again have an example code to explain it. So I'll take it as a Xilinx platform and we'll explain it in the next session. That's all for today. Um, we shall have a discussion now. If you have any doubts, please come up in the chat box.